How you doing? Mike McGroarty from freeplants.com and mikesbackyardnursery.com. Today I want to show you how to reproduce grapevines into your own grape plants. So you're going to take a vine off of a grape plant and cut it up into hardwood cuttings and actually produce more grapevines of your own. This is actually a very simple process. You're gonna find a grape plant, you're gonna cut a vine off, and you're gonna start with the butt end. Now the butt end is the part you cut. The other end of this vine that I have in my hand is the tip, and of course this end is a little bit thicker than the other end. But we should be fine. What's important though is to make sure that you know that this end, which is which, because these things look very similar and you want to make sure you have the buds going upright. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to cut on the butt end of this vine. Now notice how far apart the buds are. These are your nodes or leaf buds, and there's almost 6 inches in between some of these buds, so you're going to end up with a very long cutting. We want 3 buds on each cutting. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut right below this node, but we're not going to cut into it, just about like that. There's a little tiny, I'm going to clip that off without damaging the bud. So as you can see, I've cut right below the node, but I did not cut into it. Then I'm going to go up to this bud, or this node, and I'm going to remove any side branches, like that. And then on the top of the cutting, I'm going to cut it above the bud by about 1 inch. So this is my finished cutting. And it goes in the ground like this because the buds are going this way. And and it's important to do this so that if you drop your bundle, you can see that we're down here. Actually, I'm going to clean this up just a little bit because you don't want anything down below that shouldn't be there in the ground, because that's just going to give it a reason to rot. But down here we cut very close to the node. Here we just remove the side branches, and then on the top we went up 1 inch. This part is going to die back. But by leaving this inch, 1, it tells you which is the top of the cutting. 2, it gives you a bit of a handle to work with, so you can go like this, and you're not going to damage those buds when you plant this. Because if you bury these or whatever you do with them, you could damage that top bud. So basically, that's 1 cutting. Stick it in my pocket. And now all this wood here is worthless. So this is going to be the bottom of our cutting. So we're going to cut there, close to the node but not into it. We're going to go up here and clean this all the side growth off of that one, and then again we're going to go about 1 inch above the top. Yep, here's the top node right here, right where my finger is. So we're 1 inch above that. Down here we're close. That's the bottom of our cutting. I'll make a couple more here. So out of 1 grapevine you can get a lot of cuttings, and they can actually be really large in diameter, maybe ½ inch in diameter, or they can be skinny. It really doesn't matter. They will all root. Bottom cut close to the node. Remove the side branches here. Remove that side branch. 1 inch above the top node. Very, very simple. Now, to plant these things, there are a couple things that you can do. But the easiest thing to do is to do these in as soon as everything goes dormant. Dormancy happens when we get a really hard freeze where the temperatures dip down to about 28 degrees and stay there for 3 or 4 hours. That tells the plant world it's time to go to sleep for the winter. You wake up the next morning, all the leaves are crinkled and falling off the trees like crazy. Within a day or 2, all the leaves are off. That's when dormancy happens, not a frost. A frost really doesn't trip plants into dormancy. They have to freeze hard. So once you get past that hard freeze, that's the time to do hardwood cuttings of all kinds, including grape plants. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take these cuttings. You can dip them in rooting compound. That probably would enhance your success, but I can assure you that they root just fine without it. So what I've done, and we're going to see if we can come in kind of tight. Do we need to change positions? Okay. All right, now what I've done is I've just put a little trench in the ground with this spade by sticking the spade in and working it back and forth. I actually just open the spot up, and I'm going to stick my cuttings in here just like this. I'm going to bury This bottom node, I'm going to leave the top 2 nodes out of the ground. So that's probably about 3 or 4 inches, just like that. I'll do it again. That's all there is to it. We have 3 cuttings planted, and now what you want to do is you want to water those in really good. You want to tamp them like this. And then you want to water that area really well so that you get rid of any air pockets. You don't want any air pockets around that bottom node, because that's where the plant is going to put out roots. Right above where we made that bottom cut, the plant is going to develop roots. You're going to leave it there until it goes dormant again in the fall. So let's say you do this in December, you have to leave them alone until December of the following year, or late November. And it might be easier just to leave them until spring. So make your cuttings in December, stick them in the ground, keep them watered throughout the summer. They're going to put out leaves, they're going to root. You really, with something like Concord grapes, you can probably get about 80% of them to root using this method. And then the following year, the following spring, when they're still dormant, you can dig them up and then plant them out wherever you want. Very simple technique, works great. If you have questions, post them on the blog at mikesbackyardnursery.com. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.